Welcome back to the Swing Low Podcast Show. It is yours truly, Do Rod Crip, man. What is happening with all my people out there in the world tonight? Welcome back to this roundtable. Hey, I told y'all earlier, man, we was gonna hit y'all with a double up. You know what I'm saying? Look, I've always been told no hard work, no big shirt. So here we go. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to thank all my new subscribers. Y'all are the truth. I love and appreciate y'all for choosing the Swing Low Podcast Show to come spend some time with. You know what I'm saying? To come pick up this wonderful, good game that we got for y'all. You know what I'm saying? All these stories and anything that I present to this roundtable is for teaching purposes, man, to persuade the youth. And those of y'all that might even be in y'all older age, that might happen to fall on hard times or you know what I'm saying, find yourself in a particular situation where you can think back on shows like these and it give you some comfort in making the right decision on not putting yourself in certain predicaments. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, us being there for each other. You know what I mean? So I thank you all for choosing the Swang Low Podcast Show. Love and appreciate you all. You are fully loved and embraced here at this round table. We all got a voice here. So when you come to this platform, I encourage suggestions. I encourage participation. Join the chat. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you wanna put in, put it in the chat. Or if you ain't able to catch the live, you know what I'm saying? Put it in the comment section, man. You know what I'm saying? I try to get to everything that I possibly can, especially the comments. You feel me? And I appreciate y'all, man. And to the new viewers, if you haven't already did it, please like, comment, and subscribe to the Swang Low Podcast Show. Do it Ron Crip. You know what I'm saying? It won't cost you a dime. They won't charge your card for nothing. All you got to do is hit that subscription button. I promise you it's safe and it's free. You know what I'm saying? And if you like the content, push the like button. Oh, and I also encourage y'all to push that bell button too. So when we do these lives and I do a reaction video, you can be the first at this round table. The round table getting bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? But you want to have the first seat. You know what I mean? So push that bell button. And if you have somebody out there that you feel like these videos can help and encourage them to do better in their life, share it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. It's all for free. It won't cost you a dime. It help build this channel and keep us in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Thank you all. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this story. I told y'all I had a story for y'all, right? All right, look. This this situation took place in Corcoran State Prison, known as SAT F. Okay. This situation happened around, I'm gonna say 2014, maybe 2015. No, as a matter of fact, it happened around 2015, right? 2015. Sea Yard, SAT F Corcoran. All right. Um, at this particular time, man, we ran a tight shift around there. You know what I'm saying? And each and every respected person is, let me see, how many buildings is there? It's 8 buildings, right? And the yard is split in half. It's divided, got a big wall. So it's 4 buildings on one side of the yard, and then it's 4 buildings on the other side of the wall, right? Which they call the upper yard and the lower yard. So anyway, we was in building 4. In my building, you know what I mean? You know, um, I worked inside my building as a porter. A porter is a person that serve the food, they clean up the day room, you know what I'm saying? Clean the showers and all that stuff. We pretty much kept the building clean, you know what I'm saying? And then outside of that, we tended to everybody needs that was inside their cell, they couldn't get out. So being that I was always outside my cell, I pretty much had access to everybody inside that building. And plus I was able to get to any other building that I wanted to. So anyway, um, it was a couple of homies there, a couple of younger homies from Fresno, Crip, right? Um, the one guy that I'm going to talk about, right? His name was Loke, and Loke was probably at that time he was in his early 20s. I'm gonna say Loke was probably like 25, maybe 26 at the most, right? I'm thinking 25 years old. So, you know, Loke, he ended up in a couple of situations, a couple of little tricky situations, you know what I'm saying, where he had a couple of squabbles and shit, right? But he was your typical knucklehead young dude, young Crip with the edge on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that I looked at him. You know what I'm saying? And I dealt with him accordingly, right? So he also, along with that, developed a real bad drug addiction. He was addicted to heroin, right? And from my perspective, how he got addicted to it so bad the way that he did, he was in a cell with one of his older homies. You know what I mean? And this dude was not a good example of what a OG homie should be, especially in prison, because he was showing him and teaching him all bad habits, meaning you indulging in harsh drugs. Heroin is a extremely nasty, harsh drug, man. And I found a lot of young dudes indulging in that drug more and more. It blew me out the water how many of them openly did it. They openly did it, man. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that did it, they typically hung around each other, and you'll see them passing a little bottle. Now, when you think about heroin, you thinking about the needle and them tying the thing around their arm and shooting up with the needle and shit, right? Well, they wasn't doing it like that. You feel me? They was putting it in a little bottle, like an eye drop bottle, and they would mix it with water or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And snort it in their nose. You know what I'm saying? You had some that did it like that, then you had some that would squirt it on tobacco and smoke it like that. I've seen it done like that too. You know what I'm saying? But these dudes kept that little eye drop bottle. So they would mix it in with water or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and snort it in their nose. And so you'll see them sniffling a lot, all throughout the day, a lot, just sniffling. You know what I'm saying? You'll see them passing that bottle around, all young dudes. You know what I mean? The age of 25 and lower, right? I've seen Bloods do it. I've seen Crips do it. I've seen Bay Areas do it, especially them. You know what I'm saying? Like all young dudes indulged in this drug. So anyway, the longer he was in the cell with his so-called big homie, the worse his habit got. And his homeboy wasn't, like I said, a good example because he would get drugs sometimes. He paid his debts for the most part, but if you dealt with him on business like that, you would have to wait. Like I never understood these dudes that was willing to put their safety at jeopardy behind owing another man money, especially in prison. Being willing to owe another man, really, when you owe somebody, he owned you until that debt is paid. He owned you. I look at that situation like, you know, him being your pimp and you being his 304. Because every single day that you go on this person, he holds that power over you like that. Point blank, period. See, me, I'm the type of person, I don't feel comfortable holding a motherfucker a pack of Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Let alone some money. Like, come on, man. Come on. To this day, I would never understand how a person could put themselves in debt like that, right? But you have a lot of dudes that's in prison that have absolutely no problem with doing it. You feel me? And I don't know if They think they are outsmarting the system, trying to beat the system or whatever. I don't know if they think like they're the first person that attempted it and can get away with it. Like this shit hasn't been done years and years and years, beyond the time they was even conceived. You feel me? So a person like me that has been around an extremely long time and has seen a lot of people meet their doom behind being in debt, let alone having been strung out on a drug such as heroin, bonkers to me, bonkers. So anyway, look, he in the cell with his big homie. They in there doing all this dope. You know what I'm saying? And you know, his older homie ended up. Did he leave? I don't think he had left yet. I don't think he had left yet. But look, I don't want to fast forward into nothing. I'm going to take y'all step by step on how all this played out with Loke. So, um, he's going around getting dope from people. He went to the North Daniels and ran up a tab that was in the thousands. He went to the Southsiders, ran up a tab that went into the thousands. He went to the Crips, but the Crips wouldn't really fuck with him like that because the word had got out that he didn't have nothing, right? And you can pretty much look at a person in prison to tell they if they, you know, can cover a debt or not for the most part. You know what I'm saying? If you're paying attention, you can tell. But the Crips didn't really deal with him like that. So his tab didn't get ran up too much with them. But he went to the Bloods, ran it up into the thousands. That's where he met his doom at right there. We're gonna get to that. So bam, Loke had been in that building with me for quite some time, right? And he used to always get at me about getting a job so he can come out and work with me. Now, I'm talking about he harassed me about it every day until I actually got this fool a job out there working with me, right? But his objective was to get out so he could maneuver around and get that dope. You know what I'm saying? Now I knew that he was on it, but I did not know that he was that sprung out on it to the point that he was doing what he was doing. You feel me? Now, mind you, the Southsiders, when it comes to them doing business and especially with another race, or trust and believe, they're gonna write it down. They're gonna write down the time, the date, your first, last, middle, alias. Yeah, mama, they gonna write down every bit of information that they know about you, right? And if a certain amount of time pass to the point where you haven't paid them, then they're gonna come put you out there. They're gonna pull that list out and they're gonna put you out there. And I remember being approached by some Southsiders, and I remember dude pulling the list out like, hey man, like it's a couple of people that owe me, you know what I'm saying? Or if they don't owe me, they owe some of my people, you know what I mean? And the Southsiders press a line on they people. They make them tell, you know what I'm saying? On like if they doing business with blacks or any of that and a black owe them something, they finna push a line and make them tell like who, which one. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna write all that shit down. And then when it's time to press play, they're gonna press play and they're gonna put them out there. So they had approached me about Loke, amongst a couple of other blacks that was in there, but he was at the top of the list, right? So bam, I remember telling them like, all right, I'm gonna holler at this homeboy, but really the only one that was there at that time was the one he was in the cell with that had the same addiction that he had. But that one was able to pay his debts. You just had to wait. You know what I'm saying? Them people that indulge in that drug tend to be kind of slippery, slimy, grimy motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Point blank period. So they play that game with you until, you know what I'm saying, either they pay or and you got to beat your payment up out of them. Period. So anyway, I holler at his homie. You know what I mean? Hey, bro, look, you're selling owe these Mexicans this money. You know what I mean? They came and got at me. So if they get at me about it, like they tripping on it. All right, man, I'm gonna holler at him and this and that and blah blah blah, right? So he sometimes stepped up and he would pay half of his homeboy's debt if he was able to. You know what I'm saying? But he had the demeanor and you know what I'm saying, like the look, like he wouldn't. They didn't take it serious. I don't get it, or at least that's the way that it came across to me. Like they was not taking this shit serious, and this some serious shit. So anyway, I'm going about my business. You know what I'm saying? So this is how grimy Loke ended up getting. The other big homeboy had came there, ended up there. Now, I knew him from High Desert State Prison. He was in that prison under a whole completely different name, right? This particular dude, his name was Cargo, right? Cargo had a little reputation for getting cracking, right? So when I seen him, I'm like, I said, man, what you in High Desert State Prison? He was like, yeah. I said, but you wasn't. I said, the name that you went under. He like, no, no, no. Like, I don't go by that name no more. Right? So I'm like, oh, okay. So it's Cargo now, huh? He like, yeah, it's Cargo. I'm like, all right. So bam, I dealt with him because I knew him. Cargo was kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I know how to deal with when you've been in prison for so long, you run into all kind of different mentality types. So you kind of learn how to deal with people, man. You become part psychologist. You really have to. You have to be aware of these different mentality types. You know what I'm saying? In order to navigate around a lot of bullshit. So, but with him, I knew him. He was known for putting in work. You know what I'm saying? So and he was straight. You know what I'm saying? I never had any issues with Cargo. He was straight. So anyway, I'm dealing with Cargo. You know what I'm saying? He asked me for CDs and shit. I had a lot of CDs at that time, so I let him, listen to my CDs and shit, and you know, give books back and forth to each other and shit. You know what I mean? So bam. But when Cargo get there, these two dudes, his homies, Loke and the other one, right? He is extremely standoffish with them, right? Extremely standoffish. So I'm trying to figure out like why he like, acting like that with them. You know what I'm saying? Well, come to find out, Cargo had stabbed one of their homies in another prison, which is how he ended up getting to Corcoran prison, right? So he's not knowing like these he didn't know these two dudes. So he didn't know where they stood, you know what I'm saying, or who they stood behind. You know what I mean? All he knew was I stabbed this dude. He had a little bit of influence amongst my homies. So whoever feel any type of way, I'm gonna get cracking on. 'Em. Period. I'm not playing no games, none of that, right? So anyway, bam. I remember us sitting in the day room one day. Cargo sitting there, I'm sitting right next to him. We sitting there watching the TV in the day room. Loke and his celly is out there bushing now. They like to play a lot. Loke, like I said, he was young, so he still kind of had the young mentality and shit. You know what I'm saying? And the other one, you know, I really don't know how to describe. He was kind of goofy. You know what I'm saying? But we sitting out there one day, and Loke, for whatever reason, snuck up behind Cargo, right, and put his arms around him, like around his, like locking up the upper part of his shoulders and shit, right? Cargo came out this shit so fast, bro. And I thought he was finna get cracking on him right there and right there. You know what I'm saying? And Loke start laughing like, oh man, come on, you tripping. He laughing. Cargo, no smiles, no smirks, no nothing on his face. I seen death in that nigga eyes. Point blank period, right? So I'm looking, I'm like, fuck is he tripping on them like that? They didn't see it though. Loke and the other one did not see he was on some other shit with them, but specifically them two, right? They didn't see it. So I'm looking, I'm like, damn, he tripping on something. I just couldn't figure out what it was at that time. So bam, he telling Loke, like, man, don't play with me like that. Like, nigga, you play too much. Don't play with me like that, right? So bam, Loke still, you know what I'm saying, clowning around. He started, I guess Cargo was kind of musty that day. You know what I'm saying? So he started calling Cargo Big Onion. Right? From that day on, he started calling this man Big Onion. Right? So Cargo like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna be Big Onion. All right, like nigga, but you better quit playing with me. So bam, fast forward probably like a couple of weeks after that. And mind you, from that night on, Loke called him Big Onion. He hated it, right? So bam, a couple of weeks go by. I remember me and Loke sitting in the day room and they letting out the yard. So Cargo is coming out. He's going out to the yard, right? So Loke asked him, he like, hey man, he like, can I get some top ramens? So Cargo tell him, he like, yeah, he like, I'll get them to you when I come back in, right? So Loke like, yeah, all right. So Cargo go out. Do you know this nigga Loke went and got Cargo's cell door open and went inside his cell and grabbed him some soups out that man, some top ramens out that man's uh uh cell. Took him inside. Matter of fact, he ate one of them raw right there in the day room with me, and then took the other ones and put them in his cell. Right? So I'm like, damn. So when Cargo come back in the building, he tell Loke, yeah, I'm gonna give you them soups right now. So Loke like, I already went and got them. So Cargo like, you went and got them. He like, what you mean? He like, I went in your cell and got some soups. So Cargo like, you did what? He like, man, I went in your cell and took some top ramen. So Cargo like, so the police opened up my door and let you go in my cell. You went in my cell and took some shit out my cell. So he was like, yeah, he, laughing about the shit, right? Cargo not playing at all. When he told him that, I'm watching him, right? I'm like, this nigga tripping. So bam, Cargo like, all right, he go on the cell. He don't say nothing else. About 10 minutes go by, I hear him call me, Crip. Hey, Crip. Like, come here, check it out. So I go over there, right? He got my CDs in his hand. He like, here, you might want to take these back. So I look at him, and he gave me that look like, nigga, I'm gone. I'm out of here. He didn't say nothing. He just told me, you might want to take these back, right? Slid them up under the door. So I'm like, you straight? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, damn, this nigga tripping. So I grab the CD, bam, go put them up, right? That next day, me and Loke out working and shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't see Cargo. He didn't come out to sell that day or nothing. But when they called the yard, now usually when we out working and they call the yard, we just sit down at the tables in the day room and wait for them to finish doing the yard. The police would come in and you know what I'm saying? They will search you before you go out and right there in the day room, right by where we sit at, right? Like 5 to 6 COs that come in, they'd be standing right there in the line. So When niggas come out to go out to the yard, they go stand in front of ECO and strip down, and they'll search them and shit, and then they go out to the yard. So bam, they call the yard. Me and Loke sit down at the first table, right? So I'm sitting at the table, but I'm sitting with my back to the table. You know what I'm saying? And Loke is sitting right next to me. He's sitting right here, right next to me, right? So they let out the yard. Cargo come out of his cell with some magazines in his hand, right? I guess it was some magazines that Lokenham had gave him, right? But that was a throw off. He didn't throw me off. For one, he came out and he had his jean jacket on, his blue jean jacket, right? At that time, and Corking is hot as a motherfucker. Niggas wasn't wearing jackets out to the yard. That was the number one clue. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, he don't never come out with nothing in his hands, right? So I'm watching the whole time. The whole time he got the magazines in his hand, and he got a big ass knife tucked up under that magazine. So bam, when he come out, Loke sitting right here next to me, immediately get the plan with the big onion, big onion. What's up with my big homie, big onion, right? Cargo not saying nothing. He walked straight to Lokenham cell, put the magazines down on the floor, right? Make his way over towards us immediately, right? I'm watching the whole thing. When he get up on us, he take off on Loke. He starts stabbing Loke. The police is like 3 feet away. They right there, right? I'm sitting there looking like, what the fuck, right? Hey man, mind you, Loke was sitting right here. The first stab one was to the temple, right? He hit him so hard where Loke flipped backwards onto the floor. He flipped backwards onto the floor. Cargo jumped on top of him and he just stabbed him. Blah, 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 all in his face, all in his head, all in his back, his chest. You know what I'm saying? Until the police, the COs that were standing right there, pulled their pepper spray out. Half of them was pepper spraying him, and the other half was beating him with they batons, right? Trying to get him up off Loke. You know what I'm saying? So finally, they able to stop him, but but while they still pepper spraying, Loke somehow managed to get up in the midst of all that pepper spray and the stabbing and all that. He managed to get up and he trying to hit Cargo, right? He threw a couple of little punches, but them punches would had no effect. While he's doing that, mind you, the table that we sitting at is right here. So Cargo is crawling up. He's half his body is up under the table. He trying to tuck the knife, which he did. He tucked the knife right there. So bam, Loke get in a couple of little bullshit punches and shit, but they start beating Loke with the batons. They beat the shit out. Loke had a horrible day that day. Because not only did he get stabbed and done bad, then the police beat him with the batons. Right? So bam. There's so much pepper spray, they choking and spraying. We all choking in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They take both of them out. Right? So bam, they tell me, being that I work out there in the day room, like, can you clean this up and this and that, clean up the pepper spray and blah, 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 right? I'm like, all right, I seen Cargo tuck that knife. So I get it, take it, dispose of it, bam. There's no knife, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So then I clean up everything. That's how Loke was able to get away. Cargo didn't get charged with the stabbing because they didn't have no knife to charge him with. Plus, the knife that he used was made out of plastic. So, if he would have had steel, oh man, Loke would have been dead. You hear me? He would have been dead. Because, like I said, that first one was to the temple. Side of that nigga head was swollen up like that with a hole in it. You know what I'm saying? But the knife didn't penetrate that deep because again, it was made out of plastic, but it opened him up good. All his wounds was open. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't get in there like it could have if he would have had some metal. So bam, they take Cargo off to the hole, bring Loke back because they didn't find the knife. So bam, I'm telling Loke, I said, man, do you not understand where you went wrong, where you fucked up at, and why he did that? Oh, that bitch ass nigga, that bitch ass nigga, whoa, 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 right? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can call him all that, but at the same time, he tried to take your life, my nigga. You feel me? You went in that man's cell and you took some shit out his cell. You weren't supposed to do that. Being that that was your homeboy or not, it don't matter. That's just something you don't do because that was like stealing. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how much I tried to talk to this dude, it wasn't registering right. You know what I'm saying? And even that situation didn't teach him. So bam, he went through that. Probably a couple of weeks after that is when it get discovered that he had ran up this bill on all these different. He owed the North Angels thousands, he owed the Southsiders thousands, and the Bloods. Now this is where his world came to an end right here, because he went and ran up his tab with Big Kebo from PDL, right, Pasadena Denver Lane. Right. Big Kevo, is a reputable from Nate car. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, you know. So he pretty much had a lot of say so amongst the Bloods at that time there. You know what I'm saying? At SADF. So what made Loke go do business with him? I don't know. I guess well, what it was is he because when it came out that he owed Kevo, I know Kevo. So when Kevo came to our building, he came to me. He was like, "Hey, Crip." He said, "Where the little youngster at?" He said, "Where the little brother at from Fresno?" I said, "Which one?" He said, "The one that work out here with you." I said, "Oh man, I don't know." I said, "He might be in the other pod." He's like, "Yeah, man, let him know I'm looking for him." I'm like, "All right." Like, "Yeah, the brother been on some money, man, and you know what I'm saying? Somebody told me he finna go home." So I'm like, "Damn." I'm like, "He is finna go home." You know what I mean? See, so what Lowe did was he was going running up all these tabs with all these different fractions of people and thought he was gonna slide out and go home on all these dudes, all this money. He didn't have nothing. He didn't have nobody. His mama, I think his mama had ended up getting killed. His father was an older gentleman that pretty much looked at his kids of age like, y'all grown. I don't have to take care of y'all. I don't have to do nothing. I remember specifically sitting down with Lowe, talking to him about this, and he broke down in tears. Right? Now, you don't see too many men openly cry like that in prison. I'm talking about real physical tears. You don't see that. I've seen it a handful of times, right? And not judging, but being more sympathetic, you know, for the reasoning of those tears. So when he did it, I'm like, damn, he telling me his story. His mom's got killed. His father, was an older dude that, how he viewed his kids. And then he had a lot of brothers and shit, you know what I'm saying? But with nobody looking out for him, with nobody taking care of him. Loke didn't have nothing. He didn't have a pot to piss in, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Which made it even worse and crazier that he developed a heroin addiction in prison and didn't have a pot to piss in. He allowed his big homie to get him hooked on that shit, you know what I'm saying, and couldn't pay in no situation. You know what I mean? So this particular day when Kevo came looking for him, I went and found Loke. And I told him, I said, "Hey man," and I said, "You owe Kevo some money?" So he started laughing. He's like, yeah, 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 man. He's like, but shit. So I'm like, hey, he came looking for you today. You know what I'm saying? He was like, what'd he say? I said he just asked where the brother from Fresno was at. So he was like, man, fuck that nigga. I'll knock that old smoker ass nigga out. Right? So I'm like, I ain't never known Kevo to be a smoker or, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that wasn't him at all. And that just goes to show you the delusion that this drug had this young dude under. I guess because he was an older dude, you know what I'm saying? Uh, didn't look the part of a gang member like how, you know what I'm saying, one would imagine. But this dude was erectable, right? So when he said that, I said, smoker. I said, man, he ain't no smoker. He like, man, I'll knock that nigga out, right? And he's laughing about this shit. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So Kelbo went, he didn't just holler at me, he went and hollered at the homie two pistols from Watts, right? PJs, right? Two pistols. It was two pistols in uh chaos. Chaos from PJs, right? Now, these is young line pushers. These my niggas, right? Two pistols in chaos, man. So them the wrong people that you know what I'm saying? Because they finna, like, once it got out, when it got out to them, it was pretty much his fate was sealed. So bam, two pistols and them get at me like, hey man, like, what's up with this nigga on? And then that's when it all came out that he owed the North Angels thousands, he owed the Southsiders thousands, he owed the Bloods thousands, right? Kelbo wanted his money. Point blank period. He found out this nigga was finna go home. We all knew he was going home, but we didn't know he was trying to slide out like that, right? So they get at two pistols and chaos get at low. Hey, nigga, what's happening with this shit, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he came with some bullshit. So they like, all right, so bam, pistols them get at me like, hey man, you be having that nigga with you every day. You know what I'm saying? He over there in y'all section. Something got to happen to that dude, right? Now, mind you, we had me and my homies had just got into a scuffle with the Bay Area dudes. You know what I'm saying? So my hand was broke and swole up and all messed up and all that, right? So I'm like, I'm not finna indulge in that if my hand fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's something y'all got to take care of. Period. You know what I mean? So it was like, all right, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? So man, look, one day, Loke is out. This was soon after that conversation. We in the day room. I'm standing at one dude still talking to this particular person. Loke is probably like 6 cells down from me talking to somebody else, right? Bam. I see Chaos come in with PJs. Chaos a big, stalky young nigga. You know what I'm saying? So bam, he got uh Fat Cat. Fat Cat was from I think Santana Block, right? Don't quote me on that, but he was a Crip, right? So bam, big ass swole nigga, right? Fat Cat was no joke. Fat Cat was a punisher, point blank period. See, he was up there, putting it down. So bam, you got these two big ass niggas come in, right? So I'm standing there and I see him come in. I look, I'm like, oh, Loke standing down there by himself. They go straight to him. Hey, cuz, check it out. And just went to work on it. Right? So I'm standing there, I'm looking, I'm like, oh, right? Bro, they punish, they beat him. He on the ground, he tried to curl up. They beat him so bad, he shitted on himself. He literally shitted on himself. Diarrhea all down his leg, all on the day room floor. You know what I'm saying? He shitted on himself. They beat him so bad. You feel me? So being that, went the way that it did, I'm like, damn, man. Feel me? Like I didn't want to see that happen to him, but at the same time, I knew it was necessary because what he did was wrong. No matter how much you like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Right is right, wrong is wrong. That's something that I can never endorse. I can never allow any of my homies to run up a debt with nobody. Sit back comfortably, like it's cool. Because if you do, that means you're endorsing that bullshit, which means you should have an issue coming too. Point blank, period. You should have an issue coming too. Because what he did was you went, see, in prison, when you're doing business with somebody, really it's supposed to be straight across the table. So if you get something and you're not able to pay at that time, that person that's dealing with you is dealing with you on good faith that you're going to take care of it within a reasonable amount of time. Outside of that, you know, everything's supposed to be straight across the board. You know what I mean? And his addiction caused him to do all that scandalous shit. It's crazy, you have men in prison that live like they have no tomorrow, put themselves in different predicaments, like tomorrow would never exist, like the world threw them away, like they never had a code of ethics, morals, none of that. So just mix that in with a horrible, horrible drug addiction, such as heroin, one of the worst addictions that you can have, that and crystal meth in prison. Having that type of addiction, like that's cold, man. So I tell y'all this story because, again, I want you to be reminded anytime you step out your home and you contemplating doing something dumb, think about once you get behind them walls, because the hardships that you face in society will not stop. You making a dumb decision to do something foolish that's going to place yourself in a worse predicament, such as going to prison. You take that bad habit into the prison system with you. You get in there and you start indulging in things that isn't growing you as a man, as a person, picking up even worse habits. I would never trade my freedom. As hard as it may get in society, you got to figure out a better way. You trade one evil for another, man. That's not doing you any justice. It's making shit worse. So why even test the waters? This dude was 25 years old with the coldest addiction that you can have in prison. 25. They beat him till he shitted on himself. He lucky worse than that didn't happen to him. He could have got stabbed. He could have lost his life. You feel me? That was a simple DP and removal. Kelbo press play on that. based off everything else just came falling in on him of all the different debts that he owed to all these different fractions. And then you was trying to slide up out of there. That adds insult to injury. Ain't nobody bigger than the program. Ain't nobody slicker than it. So for you dudes, again, that is testing the waters and want to see what it feel like to have a life sentence, want to see what it feel like to go to prison. Think about that. You're not safe in prison. You're not. You trade one evil for another. It's time for you dudes to wake up, man. Wake up. Stop trying to outsmart the system. The system been there long before you. Many other men long before you have tried the same bullshit tactics and it hasn't worked yet. And some of this shit is gonna go in your ear and out the other. I understand that. Because you actually think you can beat the system in society until the system catch up to you. Then you really end up in the system where the system is the system. It's worse. It's cold-hearted. It has no regrets about doing you in. None. The system would never lose. I haven't seen the system lose one time yet. So keep thinking that you're smarter than the program, bigger than the program. And I promise you, some of us have to learn the hard way. I was one of the dudes that actually had to learn the hard way. You feel me? Because I've been a mess up from a very young age. You feel me? A very, very young age. I've done my mom's a dishonor because all the things that she tried to instill in me and show me, you know what I'm saying? I went against the grain, thinking that I was smarter than I was, and I knew nothing. And I'm not blaming nothing on nobody. Oh, this person wasn't there for me. Oh, I didn't have this in my life. Man, everybody got a choice. Stop blaming shit on other people and take accountability for yourself and your actions and the decisions that you make. Period. I heard somebody say, "Oh, well, you've been in prison, most of your life. You know what I'm saying? How can you sit back and judge anybody and tell somebody something, that's in society, that, oh, you know why? You know what gives me the qualifications to do that? Because I actually care. I went through the hailstorm that I needed to go through in order to be able to be knowledgeable enough to understand that I've been a fuck up all my life. And now it's time to turn that shit around with whatever much time I have left on this earth. And in doing so, giving back to those that need to know where to self-check and correct. Not doing that is still contribution to the bullshit, not being able to give that type of game back. So yeah, that gives me the qualifications to help those that need it. It might even help you. Who knows? Who knows? It may not register right now because you probably got that drink in your hand, you probably got that blunt in your hand. You know what I'm saying? You're probably getting ready to take that perk. You're probably getting ready to sniff that line. Whatever your habit is, it might not register right now, but when you come down off that shit that you high on or drunk on or whatever, run this show back. Run any one of my shows back. At some point, we got to start caring about ourselves, man. That's all I'm saying. You feel me? And again, it's to teach and help. Point blank, period. Not to preach, not to talk down on nobody. I'm not a perfect person. I ain't lived a perfect life, which is why I'm qualified to be able to come on and tell y'all these stories and talk about it at this round table because I care. I can't say I love my community and I love where I'm from and the people coming from abundant, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not able to get this shit back in a teaching moment. We got youngins, man. We got youngins that need this shit. So instead of judging people like myself for at least attempting to try to give something back to them, how about you fall in line, man, and give your experiences to them too, the right shit. Stop glamorizing the bullshit. Teach them to be better men and women. That's what we need to rebuild our community. That's all I'm saying, man. But look, I'm gonna go ahead and close this off. You know what I mean? I appreciate you all, man, for stepping back to this round table yet again. You know what I'm saying? We had a double up today. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, no hard work, no big shirt. You feel me? I love and appreciate you all for stepping back, hearing me out. You know what I'm saying? I take all suggestions in. You know what I'm saying? Bang the chat up, bang the comment section up. You know what I mean? If you on any one of my social medias, you know what I'm saying? Bang my social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok as Trey Mace. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to bring that on the show so y'all can start tapping into me on social media, man. Trey Mace, TrayMase. You know what I'm saying? Tap into any one of the social media sites. You're gonna see the big swang low tag on there, do rock creep and all that. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all night. Continue to be a blessing, continue to live in your blessings. I wish you nothing but well. You know what I'm saying? Especially my roundtable family. You know what I'm saying? I love and appreciate you all, man, for always coming up on this roundtable when I call. To the new viewers again, man, come join this team. Come join this family. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, and subscribe. It's all for free. You know what I'm saying? And it's all free game. You know what I mean? But look, on that note, I'm gonna get up out of here, get back to the rest of my night, that y'all get back to the rest of y'all's, man. Till we meet at this round table again, I love y'all. Triple game.